idiomART has been in its current location for 1 year, so it's a really great time to sit down and dig into some of the learnings, achievements, and the future vision with idiomART Director, Sarah HB. Sarah, welcome.
Let's do it.
Good morning, Sarah HB. Thanks for finding the time for a chat. I know that you're super busy with all the constant activity here at idiomART, but please just give us a quick introduction, where you're from, how long in Cuenca, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah HB, which is short for Hanen Bauer. It's a mouthful. I don't expect anyone to ever remember that. I'm from Bozeman, Montana, and I've been living in Ecuador since 2009 for 13 years. Of those 13 years, I've spent 10 in Cuenca and 3 on the coast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for the intro. Yapatry has our office here as well, so I'm very aware of all the different activities and going on here and the amount of energy that you put into idiomART. So I'm just very interested, what motivates you to keep idiomART going?
Well, idiomART is a place that truly brings people together and makes them feel like they're a part of something. And as we've continued to expand and to grow, that feeling is getting stronger and deeper. And anytime I have somebody come up to me and tell me something like, you know, idiomART feels like my second home, or it's because of idiomART that I was able to meet new people and find my place in the community, these are the things that really motivate me. Also, we get these incredible artists that come in and they will say things like, idiomART's one of our favorite places to have a concert or do an exhibit or do a workshop. And these are all those moments that remind me of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And really gives me the energy I need to keep going.
So seeing the satisfaction on the face of all the people that come into
Yeah.
idiomART, that really what
Oh,
keeps you going.
absolutely. And to see different people getting together, sharing a moment, learning something new, getting excited about something, dancing, whatever it is, two people who maybe would have never met in any other circumstance in life, now they're friends. Now they have something in common. These are the things that are so wonderful.
It's definitely a great melting pot of seeing a lot of different people come together.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it's become more and more. We get people from all walks of life, different ages, different backgrounds, different languages, different interests, even different politics. And what I love is that that is never an issue within the walls of idiomART. That's kind of an unspoken rule. No debating politics at idiomART. And people know it, and I think they actually really like that too.
I wasn't aware of that rule, but I love it.
Yeah. It's so unspoken, we don't have to say it.
I've seen the transformation from a center that predominantly focused on artist studios and art workshops to now including a whole range of activities that are very, very different. And now over the next 2 weeks, you've got road trips, you've got wine tasting, and you're even hosting, I think, the first play of a new theatre here in Cuenca.
Yeah.
And my question really is to you that I think it would be super helpful if you can give some sort of overview of the different types of events and activities
Sure.
that are coming up here at idiomART.
Yeah. Well, one of our goals at idiomART is to become a diverse space, right? So we get different people in and offer different activities. And in order for that to work, we have to do both. So we consider ourselves an intercultural creative center, right? In order to be intercultural, that in and of itself implies diversity. And creativity, there are so many different things. So that's been one of the funnest things for me, to tell you the truth, at idiomART has been the programming. And, you know, art manifests itself in so many different ways. And community manifests itself in so many different ways. So that's why we are just kind of exploding with all these fun things. So we do things with culinary arts, literary arts, fine arts, visual arts, art therapy, spiritual well-being, music. I mean, there's so many different ways to explore and to discover yourself. So that's why we're doing things like tastings. You know, you start to do a chocolate tasting, for instance, and not only are you going to learn about chocolate, but you're going to learn about the region in Ecuador where this chocolate is being grown and the history of how cacao has always been such a great resource here in Ecuador. And in fact, Ecuador has some of the best cacao in the world. Now they're also creating some of the best chocolate in the world. These are important things to know about our community where we're living. The concerts are always so much fun. I mean, we have so many different bands, and the people who come, it's a blast, right? So we are going to continue to just really offer all these fun things. You know, I always say we'll try almost anything once. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great too.
I was going to
you
say
know?
that your scope is super wide. Maybe it's better just to concentrate on the things that you don't do. Like, are there certain activities that you're like, no, that's just too out there for idiomART?
Not really.
No, anything goes. Try anything once. Yeah.
For the most part. There are some things that we have tried where we're seeing that maybe idiomART isn't the best place for that. For instance, we've done different things like on spirituality and really doing inner work. And the philosophy of idiomART lends itself to that. The dynamic of the house itself maybe doesn't, because it's so active. If you're in a space where you're pouring your heart out and you're, you know, really diving in or meditating, and then people are walking outside and looking at an exhibit or something like that, that might be something that we're keeping to a minimum, and maybe only doing it on certain days where we know it's going to be quiet, because that's a intimate
So you're still
activity.
doing those events, you're just tailoring the
Yeah,
environment to suit you.
and being a little bit more selective. We have said, I don't think this is the place for it. There are places in town, so then I'll direct them to those guys and say, why don't you get in touch with Santosha? Why don't you get in touch with Pascana? They do this kind of work. And so that would be one thing. Other than that, you know, as long as we are talking about creativity, the arts, and community, I mean, really, sky's the limit.
I mean, even the practical stuff, we've talked about, you know,
Sure.
different leasing workshops.
Oh,
which
absolutely.
is not something that I think a lot of people would traditionally associate with, you know, an artist studio as an example.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a part of a community service, you know. If you're coming into a new town, you don't know anybody, you don't understand the customs, you don't really get how it works, then that's a huge service, and it's super important to know. And that's a part of community building, which is what we're all about. So it doesn't all, you know, art and creativity and community doesn't only mean painting or writing or the most obvious things. That, of course, is a part of it. I mean, that goes without saying. But there are these nuanced activities that we can be doing that are also a part of this foundation of being a part of a community that supports one another and cares about one another and is helping each other out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the main reason that we decided to move in here.
Yeah.
So that sort of environment and that community.
And that's the reason we love having you guys here too. Every once in a while people are like, Yapatry, but they don't do art. I know.
I'm not an artist, no.
You'll be the first to say it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the work you guys are providing for the community, I mean, and you know, you and I have talked, we kind of got on board with our initiatives with this work we're doing at the same time. So we have a lot of parallel experiences. And to be sharing a space, I personally find super fun. I love it. And then seeing how you guys are growing and hearing the comments that people make when they come to idiomART about Yapatry, it's wonderful. I mean, you're providing a service for the community that is very needed, and people appreciate it.
Oh, it's very nice of you to say. But
Yeah.
enough about me. Let's move on to you.
All right.
As we mark the 1-year anniversary of idiomART in its new location, could you please just share some of the milestones and the highlights that you've achieved during this time?
Sure. Well, this year truly has been a year of very noticeable growth and expansion. You know, part of the reason we moved to this new house is because we were outgrowing, or actually had outgrown, the other house. And some of the activities and events that we wanted to do just didn't work in that other space. So we moved to this house that allows us to really dive into some of the fun things we've been wanting to do, especially some of the activities and the events, you know, performing arts, culinary arts, things like that didn't always work in the other space. And so that's been incredible. The fact that we have been noticed and recognized by local media, including national media, has been huge. I mean, we are getting more and more Cuencanos, not just Ecuadorians, but Cuencanos coming in And that is just makes me so excited because that's one of my main goals.
I think our family in Quito saw you on
Oh, really?
Equivisa, was it?
No, it was Teleamazonas.
Teleamazonas, yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody come in from Quito who said they saw me on TV and they actually came looking for idiomART because they were in town.
Fantastic.
And so these are the things that's like, wow, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. To me, that's one of the main milestones. We're getting people coming to certain events and putting on events that are campesinos, indigenous people, traveling like 2-3 hours to come to certain events that we're doing. These are huge things for us. And so, we're coming to the end of our year. And I'm putting together a newsletter just to talk about all the things we've accomplished, as well as talk a bit about the impact we're having in the community because, one of our goals and focuses is to support artists. The art world is challenging no matter where you are on the planet. Ecuador is not easy. Cuenca is not easy. If you are trying to live as an artist, it's hard. It's really hard. So we try really hard to support artists, and they can be emerging artists. They can be artists that have, decades long notoriety even. It doesn't mean that things are any easier for them, right? So as I've been going through the numbers and writing it down, it's actually really exciting. We have had over 80 events in this house in the last year.
That's heaps.
It's tons. We've had over 40 workshops. And at those workshops, we've had anywhere between like 5 people to 20 people, depending on the workshop. We've had 16 art exhibits, and we have supported 27 different artists within those exhibits because we've had multiple artist shows. We've had artists from like 6 different countries show their work here at idiomART. We've had 12 patio session concerts, and with that we have artists that are traveling through, artists that are established here in Cuenca. We have singer-songwriters, we have folk singers, music, or country music, cumbia, you name it. And these things are just so excited. We've also, for the people who don't know me before idiomART, because a lot of people didn't know me before then, I have been very focused on giving back to the community, doing a lot of charity work and doing a ton of volunteer work. And, I had to kind of get my feet under me at idiomART. That first year, I was just trying to figure out what was going on. And this last year, I feel like I've really come into my own as Sarah, running idiomART and bringing more of that community outreach in. So we've helped over 6 organizations, including a local one, the Club Deportivo, that's here in our barrio, and they help out children and low-income families in the neighborhood.
When you say help, does that mean like with financial support or some other sort of aid?
Yes, all of that. So a Club Deportivo, where we give them money, right? And then with other groups, we have done exhibits, we've hosted like high teas, we've done cultural events, things like that, where proceeds go to these organizations.
The art sales as well.
Yep, absolutely. So that's something that we definitely want to continue to do. There are so many incredible organizations here in Cuenca, in Ecuador, and that is super important. It's part of, being in a community, helping one another out, and there are a lot of people doing good work. So if we can help, we will.
So that's a lot of effort though. I hear that, like 80 events, and I start sweating a little bit, just trying to think how much time, energy, and especially energy. And I see you running around all the time, and I kind of vaguely know what you're doing. But
Me too, I vaguely know what I'm doing.
But some of those details, I'm just super impressed by the amount of energy that you're able to put into it.
Yeah, it is a lot of energy. I kind of have it down to a science. I think I could set chairs up downstairs in my sleep at this point. Honestly, the fact that idiomART is growing the way it is, it has outgrown me. I can't do it on my own, and I haven't been doing it on my own for a while. And so I think it's important to acknowledge also the people behind the scenes. I'm kind of the face of idiomART at this point, but it doesn't mean I'm the only one doing things, right? And first off, I have to talk about my family. Deanna and Leif, they have been with me from day one since the old house. constantly helping me out, and not just like at events, but like emotionally, and kind of putting up with me bringing work home and maybe the stresses or the being tired and not wanting to say a word, and they just give me my space. You know,
Like,
that's
do
huge.
you guys have weekends? Because there's a lot of events all over the weekend.
Yeah.
So like, do you actually have family time?
I would say that that's something that needs to change. We don't have as much family time as we would like. It's been definitely one of the, what do I want to say? Sometimes I forget how to say words in English, but like compromiso? Compromiso, that's not
Compromise?
even, yeah,
Yeah,
compromise.
yeah.
That's it. And I feel like my family is compromised a lot because of how much I've been putting in. And that's something that I want to change personally, not just because I could stand to have a little R&R, but I would like to have more time where it's not just idiomART focused, and that is happening more and more. And part of the reason that's happening is because, like for instance, we have these incredible artists, in-house artists who have their studios here, and now we're working together where they're taking, some of them are taking on responsibilities in the house that maybe they weren't before. So we're rotating days here, which is why you maybe don't see me physically in idiomART all the time, because Maite is in charge of the house that day, or Christian, or we have a new artist, her name is Samantha, and she's starting to do that as well. And that's, not only is it helpful for me and my energy, but I think it's just awesome for the house because we're in it together, we're doing this together, so it makes sense that we would be taking control of certain aspects of the house together. I also have a wonderful woman, her name is Karen, and she kind of instigated the drum circles we've been doing. And over the months, we've started chatting, and she mentioned to me that she's a retired corporate administrator, and she offered to take on the registration and reservations for idiomART.
Fantastic.
And she's been doing that for a couple months, and I tell you what, before she came on board, I can't tell you how much time every day I spent answering emails, putting things into the spreadsheets, all the reservations, the follow-up. It's a lot of work. That's a huge chunk taken off of my plate. We now have Jimena Moscoso, who's coming on board. She's actually taking on all of the art exhibits at this point and helping with event coordination. So the team is growing. And then there's so many volunteers that they'll come and help us with the plants, or work in the bar, or be at the door, or help with the chairs. People are constantly asking what they can do.
And there's more volunteers required. If you want to put your hand up, you're more than welcome to have a talk.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a lot of really fun ideas, and we need groups and teams to make it happen. And yeah, anyone who wants to be a volunteer, and it doesn't have to be physical stuff like what I'm talking about. We definitely have some other administrative things that we could be doing to help serve the community and serve the art community. We just need the folks.
Operating a creative center comes with its own set of challenges. What are some of the key lessons that you've learned during this first year here?
I would say measuring myself is definitely something I could work on. I have really big ideas, and people come to me with really big ideas that I love, and making sure that I can keep up with these ideas has been a huge challenge. And I can get impatient. I know what I want, I know where I want to go, and I want to get there yesterday sometimes. So I just have to remind myself that things are a process. You know, the art scene in and of itself is a challenge, and being an independent creative center has its own set of challenges.
Yeah, so you don't get any funding, right, from the local council or anything like that?
No, we're not involved with the municipality or the Ministry of Culture, and in all honesty, it's, on the one hand, it would be nice, but on the other hand, it's nice that we aren't. It's not always easy to work with the bureaucracy at the end of the day.
You've got your freedom here, though.
Yeah, we've got our freedom. You know, I'm looking into if there's a way that we could partner up with a nonprofit and maybe offer different programs. It would be wonderful to be able to offer more programs to children in the neighborhood, or if we could get a sliding scale. I don't know. All of these things require help that we can't do on our own. So it's like identifying different things and identifying where we want to go and what we want to do and how can we do that sustainably and successfully. And I think that's a challenge of really any initiative and anything that anyone's trying to do. So I don't feel like we're unique in our challenges. It's just definitely there, Definitely.
So I do know that there's a lot of collaborations and partnerships that have contributed to the centre's growth. And this includes the resident artists that call idiomART home. And I have noticed there has been some rotation of artists over the past year. And I guess what I would be interested to know is if you can just elaborate a little bit on the type of resident artist or perhaps the qualities that you've noticed that really allow a resident artist to thrive here at idiomART.
Well, idiomART is an active place. We have a lot going on, and that's continuing to grow. So, to have your studio space here means that you want to be around action. You want to be around movement. You're okay with some noise. You're okay with comings and goings and things coming up or things changing. There's a level of flexibility that all of us really have to make things work here. I find that the artists that really are diving into the idea of idiomART are the ones that really enjoy collective collaboration, you could say. It's really fun, when the different artists will pop into the other studio and they'll chat about their work or give each other some feedback and or hey, what if we do this? What if we do that? This is the idea of idiomART is not to be a place where all we do is collect rent, right? It's for us to create together. And so the artists that have really hung out and keep staying with us and want to and really are looking towards the future, they love that energy. It's one of the artists who came and got her studio almost 2 years ago, she said, I've been an artist for a while and I'm stuck. I've just been stuck. And I'm looking to be around other creatives to get my juices flowing again. And now she's going nuts with her painting. It's really fun. In fact, our most recent artist, Samantha, same thing. She says, I have 15 years of art inside of me that I'm trying to get out. I want to be around creatives.
It's great seeing the artists work together.
Oh, I love it.
I just hate when they ask me for any sort of input. I've got nothing.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love
Great
it.
colour.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I do love the energy of this old patrimonial house, but I also know that with age comes some inevitable fraying around the edges. And can you just share some of the insights around managing the centre's operations and logistics, as I'm sure it's quite a challenge?
Well, I want to give a huge shout out to the owner of the house, Jacqueline. She is just an incredible human being and she loves her house. So we have an agreement that if anything happens, I'm to tell her immediately and she will take care of it as soon as she can. And she really does. This has been a very intense rainy season that also involved a fairly good sized earthquake that shook Cuenca, right? We've got an old roof with the ceramic tiles, and those are attached to one another with wires, right? The earthquake moved some of the tiles. We didn't realize until our next big rain, and we had some pretty big leaks in the roof. So somebody had to get up there, move them around, and these are things that are going to happen. What's great is she's on it, And in terms of, at the end of the day, I personally don't have to take on any of the maintenance in that way. That's our agreement, and she does a good job, and that's not always an easy thing to find either. No. So I'm super grateful for her.
That's fantastic. If you have a good relationship with your landlord, like we do a lot of rental properties here in Cuenca, and that's generally the number one thing. If you have a good relationship, The rest of it is just easy.
Oh yeah, and she comes to the events, and I've gotten to know her husband and her daughter, and they're just great people all
That's awesome.
around. So
What
that's
about dealing
cool.
with the city itself? I've noticed some different inspectors because of the patrimonial status and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that much work for you? No?
That's a loaded question. I wouldn't say it's a lot of work. It's just very time consuming. Nothing happens as quickly and as smoothly as you're ever
So
expecting.
a lot of waiting in lines, that sort of
Waiting
thing?
in line only to find out that now the computer doesn't work, or the system, or they're changing this or that. But it's nothing out of this world either. Yes, we are a patrimonial home, so there are certain things we can't do. For instance, we are not necessarily the most handicap friendly home or center in Cuenca, right? First of all, we're 2 floors. If you're in a wheelchair or if you have severe disabilities, you're going to have a hard time, or it will be impossible for you to get to the 2nd floor. The bathroom is a specific width, the door. If you have a really wide wheelchair, you're not going to get in it. We are looking to build a ramp to get in through the front door, but that's about where we can go. Anything else that we would potentially do in the house is this huge ordeal with permits because it's a part of historical Cuenca. So those are some things that thankfully people who live here, even those who are brand new here, understand that kind of stuff. So it's not like people are angry with us like, oh, idiomART's not handicap friendly. It's like, it is what it is, right? And so we make do with what we can. So those are the things. At the end of the day, it's, you just have to jump through the hoops, and so we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, what are the plans for idiomART for the next 12 months? What exciting projects can we look forward to?
Well, one of the things that's really getting me excited are the plans and the changes that we have for the exhibits. With Jimena coming on board and taking on the exhibit, she has a really artistic side to her. She's an interior designer. She does set design for theater. She's worked at Museo Pumapungo, Dirección de Cultura. She's been an art teacher. I mean, she has a ton of experience. And she has some really fun ideas of how we can take our exhibits and turn them into more of an art experience, not just an exhibit. And so that's going to involve a whole other process. And I think starting in the fall, everyone will notice how that piece of idiomART is shifting and is only becoming deeper. And concepts are going to be more profound. Activities surrounding the shows are going to be different. I mean, it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. And, part of what she wants to bring to the table is basically growing on what we're already doing and, creating a kind of a group of artists where we're all in it together. You don't just come for an exhibit, then you leave, but you come for an exhibit, but then you're a part of something. And even when the show comes down, you still feel like you're part of something. So taking that further, I mean, that's where we've been, but now the idea is to go further. That's super exciting.
That's incredible. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Having a little bit of a struggle to imagine it. I think it's one of those things that we just kind of have to be here and experience it.
Well, the color will be great.
Okay. Yeah, there's my input.
Yeah, exactly.
And which upcoming workshops, exhibits, and events are you really looking forward to?
Well, I'm really looking forward to our next exhibit that's coming up. This is actually going to be the first one that Jimena does, and it's with a local artist. Her name is Maria Belén Ochoa, and she's actually an actress. And she's done different things around town, and she makes these cool dolls. They kind of look like marionette puppets, but not really. They're called mampuches. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I think it's a word that she's created. And the 2 of them are putting together this really incredible concept for this art exhibit. And the opening will be towards the end of the month, and we'll be sharing dates soon. We've got a tasting course coming up. It actually starts on the 3rd of June. And, over the course of these past months, we've had different wine tastings and champagne and sparkling wines and chocolates. And we've had course meals pairing wines and things like that. And it's really fun. And people have been asking, but we'd like to learn more. Not just taste, but learn how to. So we're doing that with sommelier Melissa Perez Singer. She's the woman we've been working
how
with.
to classify wine, or what's the
Well,
focus?
it's fun. We're doing 101, 102, 103, and 104. So each class is focusing on something different. So the very first tasting class is 101, where you will learn the basics of just how to taste a wine. Pour it in your glass. What does it look like? What does it smell like? How do you taste it? What do you do when it's in your mouth? What do you look for? All these kinds of things. 102 is then how to differentiate between basic varietals. Like, what's the difference between a Merlot and a Malbec? What's the difference between a Chardonnay and a Sauvignon Blanc? Things like that. And then how to pair them. The third one is focusing on rosés and sparkling wines, Prosecco, champagne, and learning the nuances, like what are the differences, what are they about, how do they come about, where are they grown, where are they made, things like that.
So it's a little series. So
it's a series.
Do you have to do all of them, or can you just come and go?
No, you can just come and go. You could sign up for, 1 or 2 or 3. If you do sign up for all 4, then we give you a little discount, kind of the package deal. And we've been promoting that on social media and on different, promotion sites. So you can find information. If you don't find it, get in touch with me. I'll send it to you. Right. That's really fun.
That's really cool. I like that you're going the next level, not just the surface level, but if you want to go deeper, then we've got something for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we always have great workshops. We're looking to do a mural workshop where you will learn how to draw out a design, how to put that on a wall, and then paint it. What are the different paints, the brushes, the styles. And what will be cool is at the end of that workshop, we're going to have a mural painted on a wall, hopefully in the neighborhood. We've got our eye on a couple of walls, and we're working on that. Awesome. And then we always have such great things with the in-house artists, like Alberto is going to be doing yet another watercolor class, and people love that kind of stuff. And we're going to do an Inti Raymi cultural road trip with the Spanish group, going to Chobchi to celebrate Inti Raymi for the solstice. And we could be here for another half an hour if I started telling you what I'm excited about.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Any plans for expansion or improvement of the center?
Yeah, actually, we've put in place a new billboard system, I guess we could call it. And basically, for a while there, we had a young intern. Her name is Grace, and she came with a really cool organization where they do gap year work called Amigos de las Americas. And part of the work that the interns have to do is put in place some sort of a project in the organization where they're working. So with Grace, we designed this kind of communication system within the house. And basically, when you walk in the front door, we always have the posters and things of what's coming up. And but a lot of people don't realize what we actually do within the 4 walls of idiomART with all the different artists and organizations that are here. So we're putting together, we actually have it started and we're finishing it up, where we're going to have a list of all the different things that you can do here in idiomART any day. Art classes, different services like with you guys, all sorts of stuff, so you can walk in and look and go, oh, okay, I actually really like that, I had no idea. And we're also putting together like a self-guided tour. So we're naming the different spaces in the house, and they'll all have signs on them. And then there's going to be a map downstairs and upstairs. So you can go in, look at this map, and then essentially give yourself a guided tour of the house if you want, or know exactly, I want to find Yapatry. Where is it? Oh, there it is, and go.
That's really cool. So just of the house itself, though, not
just
outside.
Of the house. No, just of the house itself. And we do have a community space. We call it the Comunidad Creativa, where people who are not in idiomART can put things up. So we've got upstairs in our multi-use room or classroom,
in this room
where we are right now. you can come in and put your business cards up, or if you have a flyer for an activity. People are always asking for that, and we've never really had a place, so now we do. And then when you walk in, you'll still see the different things, but now it's nicer. We're not taping paper on the wall like we had been.
A little bit more organized.
Yeah, it's a little bit fancier. Now we have cork boards.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so that's one thing. You know, this space is in constant evolution. It's one of the things I like. So we've been here for a year, and we're seeing some of the things that work, some of the things we could improve. So we're constantly doing little things that you maybe wouldn't even notice, but to us being here on a daily basis, we do notice. Things like
Give me some examples. Yeah.
cleaning up the bodega.
Cleaning the bodega.
Knowing where things are in there. It might seem small, but it's huge, actually. Yeah, little things like that, right? Sure. But then in terms of expansion, we actually do have some really cool things simmering. I don't want to talk about it yet because nothing's been solidified, but we do have some ideas for more collaboration and working with other groups and doing other things to continue with our goal to help artists be seen, be valued, be appreciated, and receive compensation for their work. So that's something that we really want to expand into in the next year. And you'll hear all about it when we're ready to tell you.
All right, we won't give anything away.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the 1 year anniversary celebrations.
Yeah.
Now, this year we are being a little bit greedy, and we're celebrating for the entire summer. And what fun and exciting events do we have up our sleeves?
Well, we're going to kick it off with our actual anniversary, and it's kind of fun because it is the actual date, June 8th. Last year, June 8th was the day that we had our inauguration, our grand opening of this house. And this year, June 8th, we are going to commemorate our 1 year anniversary. And that's going to be tons of fun. We have live music, DJs, we're going to have artists in their studios, we'll probably have cake. I don't know. We're going to have surprises. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag with everything, but it's going to be fun. And the idea is for us all to get together and just celebrate.
It'll be a full house, right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
People and energy everywhere.
People, energy, dancing. You know, we have a lot to celebrate. And it's not just idiomART that has something to celebrate. We all have it because we're all a part of it, right? We got here today because of all of us, not just because of a few of us in the house. So let's celebrate. Let's do that.
Do it.
And then, you know, we figured, well, we can't have it be just one day, but there's like, you know, there's technically 3 months, but 2 months to the summer, and so why not? You know, you hear of people having a birthday month. Apparently, we have an anniversary summer. And so we're going to do some really cool things like have open houses where the artists will be in their studios and they'll be doing like art demos or talking about certain things in the art world. The idea is to really showcase what we have going on in the house, as well as continuing to offer all these really fun and diverse activities. We've got the art exhibit that I already mentioned. We're going to have some really great workshops, and we're going to have some fun events and activities focusing on art, like live figure drawing. I'd love to do an art jam if we could, and that's fun where you get people in here doing crazy stuff with art and you just come and hang out. So we've got a lot of really cool things coming up. We'll be sharing the calendar very soon so people can start planning their life around our celebration.
Yeah, my next question was really, how do people keep in touch and understand what is actually coming up over the summer?
Well, I mean, I think one of the easiest things for people always is social media. We have a very strong presence on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow our pages, then you're constantly going to be seeing what we have. And I always put our monthly calendar on and then I pin it so you go to our Facebook page and you can go straight to that. We also, you know, promote on the Apatry event page and Gringo Post and Cuenca High Life, all those mediums. And then we have a mailing list and a WhatsApp group. So if anybody wants to get on our mailing list, wants to get on our WhatsApp group, they just have to give me their email address and their phone number. And with the email, I'd say we maybe send between 1 and 4 emails a month, depending, but the WhatsApp group is on a weekly basis. This is what's coming up. So it's an easy way to really get info right to
And
you.
most of those emails are event-based, right? It's like, this is what's
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, although I would like for that to change in the next year. Now that I feel like I'm going to have more time, I would love to start to do a little bit more content as well, because I think there's a lot going on here that people don't know about because we just haven't had time to share it.
Yep.
And I would love to start sharing that too.
Awesome.
So these are the goals.
Awesome. Really good. Now that's all the questions I had. So thank you very much for your time, Sarah,
Yeah,
today.
thank
and
you.
I cannot wait to celebrate over the summer with you.
I know, me too. Get your dancing shoes on. I want to see you dancing.
Oh, we need a few drinks first. But we'll see.
We can make that happen.
Awesome. Ciao.